Hello, this is Gary, and I have here an Ollendorff watch. And so, what I know about this watch is not much. I do know that they were sold in New York by a company called the Gotham Watch Company. Ollendorff is a Swiss company or Swiss manufacturer, and it actually says Swiss down here at the bottom on this very dirty and well patinaed dial. You'll notice that there's no crystal on this watch. This is a non-running, just part of a lot of watches that I came across, and I'm going to see if I can restore this watch. And it's really great. I love it's called a Tourneau, kind of barrel-shaped design and a barrel-shaped crystal with the carving, like a floral carving on the corners of the bezel, and then also on the sides of the watch as well. It's very pretty. I would say it's probably from maybe the 20s or 30s. I love these hands. They're loomed. The loom is, we're fortunate because this has been without a crystal for so long. It's fortunate that both of these, the minute and the hour hand, are still on the watch. The seconds, the sub-seconds, is missing that hand, so I'll need to find something to replace that. The loom is missing in some areas, a little bit there on the hour hand and a little bit here in the minute hand. I'll have to see what I want to do about that. I might try reluming it. The dial itself, very dirty. I'm hoping that with a little tender cleaning that I might be able to lighten that up and get some of the big pieces of dirt off there. You also see that there is lume on all the numbers. Anyway, a pretty fascinating watch. Don't tell my wife, but I think if I can get this going and get it back together, that I might make a gift of this to her, because I think it would look really smart on her wrist. Let's see. First things first, I'm just going to take these hands off. Just very carefully. Now, normally, you would want to line up these hands, minute and an hour, but I think I can just pop it off here with, kind of lift them up without much trouble. Yep, there we go. Now, one thing I've noticed about this case is it's hinged. You can see there's a hinge there. There's a pin and the hinge, so the case hinges up, kind of like a lot of pocket watches do as well. It doesn't have a crown, as you see. And in my parts bin, I found this really cool one. It is brass or gold colored, which you usually don't see that, but it's so cool with the the ridges on there. That and also because this has this tube here, I needed to find a stem with a pretty wide opening in the back to be able to fit over that. And this was one of the only crowns that I had that would do that. So I thought I would just put that in there and see if by chance, you might get lucky here. Okay, it does. Yeah. I actually don't mind that, honestly. The two different metals, just because the detailing on this crown looks like it would go with a watch with this kind of carving. The mainspring is already wound up, so if I try to wind it that way, it won't wind. But if I do the backwards one, listen. So that's the click. So that's great. That means it's engaging. So actually, I might have gotten really lucky, not only having the crown fitting over the tube, the stem tube there, but with the stem actually interacting with the movement. So that's really good news. Let's see if this will work. Oh, there we go. All right. See what we have here. Okay. Looks like, okay, we'll only open until just not even 90 degrees. All right, on the barrel wheel, you can see it says Ollendorff W Co. Ollendorff Watch Co. And I see some jewels. What does this say here? Oh, there's another Ollendorff watches right there. Time, looks like it says time adjust. Swiss. The case screw is not in a perfect position there. All right, it is going to turn. It looks like the top bezel also needs to come off of this movement frame. And so if I just gently turn that, you can see, look at that. Okay, make sure it's in the frame here. Just kind of walk it off. So I carefully lifted the frame off, or the when I say the frame, that's the movement frame, from down here all the way up, perpendicular with the front bezel, and that lifted up the dial just a little bit. And I think that just because it's been in there for so long, it's just pretty snug. So again, just going very slowly. I don't really want to push on the dial too much, just on the very edge. Okay. So just moving it slightly, and it, I just moved it in the right way, and the movement fell forward with the dial. So I'm able to take it out right now, like that. And get a closer look. I'm just going to set this movement aside for right now, just to look at the case. Because yeah, it looks like that is. It's so interesting that the movement surround is part of the frame. Boy, that was really in there tight. Maybe just because, like I said, it was been in there for so long without being taken out. But all right, there it is. This is interesting. I don't see case screws like you would traditionally on the side of the dial. So not case screws, sorry, dial screws. Dial screws to hold that together. So as we take this apart, we'll have to discover how the dial comes off of here. There's just this corner here doesn't quite want to give yet. That might be that little screw right there. Let me see if I can give that a turn. Released the two pins for the dial. Okay. Let's see what this looks like on the reverse side. Whoa. Yeah, that looks that looks pretty dirty there. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. I'll take that. Yeah, I'm sure it's just bone dry and dirty. What I also like to look for is to see if it's moving the escapement wheel. A little bit hard to tell from that angle. So it's moving the escapement wheel, but not forward. It's moving where it kind of goes like that. There we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is a... Okay, that is one bridge. Well, good. Makes it, you know, a lot easier to think about putting that back in. I thought that was actually two. Looks like two, doesn't it? But it's one. And I noticed too, like this was worked on before, and there are just some marks there of a screwdriver, and so someone might have got confused that that is reverse threads. And it may have damaged the screw just a little bit. It's not a problem, just more cosmetic. And look at that. These are both, I've never seen that. These are both reverse thread screws. Both the ratchet wheel, and also the barrel wheel. Interesting. Yeah, I forgot to take the cannon pinion off on the other side. So let me get these loose wheels out of the way first, so they don't fly around on me. And the escapement. There we go. Okay. Now that wheel should just pop right out. Yep, there it is. Great, and that is also the pinion winder that just came out in the keyless works. So since I'm over here, I'll go ahead and take off this this spring and the rest of the keyless works assembly. Okay. That pivot right there is held in by this spring right here. So be very careful when I do springs. To hold it like that. come off like that. Right. And this might be, yeah, it has the screw from the other side, which I'll have to loosen that because here's the bottom of the screw right there. But this is all disassembled, and so on the other side we just have the click and the pallet. That right there is the screw for that plate, and the keyless works right here. Yep, there we go. Okay, there we go. And the pallet, very carefully. Yeah. Looks to be okay. Okay, there is a click spring in there, and you might want to take that out. Well, okay. Did that just pop out? It's not in here. Yeah, I'm looking under magnification here, and the click spring, I thought I had seen it before, but I don't see it now. I just took the click off. It's a little mystery that we'll have to solve. I think these two screws here, they're unique, and I think that they had to do with the dial, holding the dial on. Oh my gosh. Okay, that one got lucky there. Here it is. These are already a little bit loose. Except that one. That one was okay. Oh, it looks like it might be hanging up on this tiny screw over here. Let me see. Nope, there it goes. Yeah, definitely needs to be cleaned. Mainspring, barrel. And then this, yeah, there's that. That goes just right in there. So I have everything off of here. My only question is that click spring. Wow, I'll have to figure that one out. I don't know about that. But there we go. Next step is I'm going to clean up all these parts, and then we'll put this back together. I'm going to take a look at this dial now and see if so I can gently clean it up. I know you have to be very careful with these dials because they will scratch or smear, or the paint will come off. So I actually saw someone online on YouTube doing this, and how he did it was he used some warm water and a piece of magic eraser. So that's what I have here. And I'm just going to take the water and just kind of dab this and see if I can get some of the dirt to release. I'm not going to scrub it. I'm just going to kind of just, move it around a little bit and see if I can pull the dirt off the watch face. Maybe a little bit of dust is coming off onto this. Just dabbing it and see if that will loosen it up. A good goal for this would really just for it to be even, kind of evenly colored. So really looking right around this really dirty area, right around the 5 and the 6. Because if I could get some of that off, then it would be a little bit more uniform across the dial. I have to be very careful because you can find some Ollendorff watches on eBay, but I haven't seen too many. And to find another dial that would that would fit this case, I think that would be pretty tough to do. This watch was sitting out. I'm pretty sure it was sitting out without a crystal on it for a really long time, probably just hanging out in a box somewhere. And so all the dirt and soot over time just landed on the dial and has gotten pretty well adhered to it. I'm just going to take a look at that area right around the 5 and the 6, if I can see if it is on top of the dial or if it is scratched off the dial. Yeah, it might actually be kind of scratched off the dial, kind of like this one right here by the 7. And if that's the case, then there's no fixing that. It's just the way the dial is now. It's all about your preference. I really don't mind to see a patina on a something on an antique. I mean, this is 100 years old, so actually just kind of adds to the beauty, in my opinion. There's plenty of brand new things that you can buy, but there is a limited number of things that are 100 years old and still work, and that's what I like. Look at the other side. I noticed before that it's really greasy here, and actually this part here will scratch off. You can kind of see it there. So let me see if I can get that off. And of course on this side you can be a little bit more aggressive with the cleaning. Oh yeah, it's definitely coming off there. Yeah, boy, that came off really easy. You think of like, how much better is this going to run when you have all the dirt removed from the inside of the watch? Yeah, it's coming off on my brush. That is a good result there. Okay. Pretty happy with that. I think it's the best that we can do. I've been thinking about these hands, and the hands have luminescence in them. These hands are really cool. They're blued. Have a slight amount of oxidation on them that I will try to gently get off. But the lume, as you can see here, is the lume is broken, meaning it's just starting to crumble. The hands are fine, but the lume, the old lume, is coming apart. So I have, two choices. One is I could just leave it. So actually, I'm still thinking about it. I might actually just keep it original. But I also want to try reluming hands. I do have a reluming kit, but I've not tried it before. So what I might do is I might just try just do a test on another hand, and I have one here for a different watch, probably a pocket watch. But I think I might just give it a try. First, it gives me a chance to practice, and secondly, I can see what it looks like, because if it looks too new, I don't want that on this Ollendorff watch. So I think I might try it. I just might try it with this and see how it turns out. So I made a decision based on how this hand turned out that I did a test lume on. I'm going to go ahead and replace the lume on these Ollendorff hands. Of the alcohol in there. Give this the same kind of treatment here. Great. I'll take this out to dry, and then we can relume them. So my two hands here are the minute hand and the hour hand are all cleaned. I have the old lume removed, and I have this one braced in my anvil here. This one is just, the minute hand is just setting on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some new luminescence. I have this kit called Vigor Luminous Compound. Easily applied and dries quickly. I have two different colors, the blue and the more like whitish ivory. But from what I could tell from what was in there, it was more of like a blue-green compound. So I'm gonna use that. And the way we do that is you take this applicator stick, and you heat it up with a lighter, and you get some of the compound on there, and it melts it. And then as it's melting, you just kind of apply it into the hands. And then when it's dried, you take your knife and scrape both sides of it, and then that's how you put it in. It's pretty easy. One of the hardest parts is that this this copper applicator gets really hot, so you really kind of need gloves to in order to hold it. Warm up the stick. That should be good. And then grab some of this, and you can see it's melting, and then I can just put it right on there. Just press it in. It's like wax. Great. I'll do that again for the minute hand. Grab some of the shavings while it's still warm. I'll need to hold that. This tool is bending in my hand. Okay. And need to heat this up a little bit more. Now you can see it starts to melt. There's still one little area right there that needs it. Now I'm just going to go over both of those one more time with a hot wand. And then I'll just take the flat side of the blade, side right there, and just scrape it this way. Great, I got a big chunk off there. This big piece right here should be able to, that comes right off. To this side, and do the same. Just want to be very careful with the very tip because it's so thin and fragile. I just want to not scrape too hard. But I want to clean it up now so it doesn't fall off onto the dial once the hands are put in place. So there we go. A newly lumed minute hand. Ready for assembly. I've washed all of the parts. For the bridges and the main plate, I used a parts washer first, and that did a pretty good job, but it left some residue on there, so I cleaned everything again in just an alcohol bath. I was able to get some of the really bad brown kind of greasy stains that were on the bridge plates especially, and that came up pretty good. So I think this watch is going to look good as well once I get it back together. Some grease rather in the barrel spring. This was very dry, and it was dirty. Barrel arbor will go in here. Okay, I think I have it. If you can see how I'm turning it with the tweezers, and it did it jump off? Looked like it was starting to turn the mainspring. Yeah. To test that, if I just let it go a little bit, you should see it back off a little. That is now connected. So I can put the barrel lid on. Put the top on. Okay. That's the click sound we want. It's at this point where you see the plate with all these holes in here and you think, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can get all of this back together, but if you just take it one step at a time, you'll be able to. It's the first thing I look for is I'm going to put the pallet fork in. So I look for the pallet fork fences, those two little pegs right there. So I can put it right in there. Okay, so that is moving nice and free and clear now. I'm convinced that the pivots are in there, so I'm just going to give this a final tighten up here. And then the escapement wheel, and then I'm going to oil the pallet stones while I have easy access, I like to do that. You just have to slide that in so it interacts with the pallet stones. Like that. Yep, that one is coated. Here's the keyless works. So this is a 3 o'clock position, but this is the not the dial side. So this is going to be the 6 o'clock position here. And so the furthest wheel down, that's the sub-seconds right there. And then the intermediate wheel is going to go here, and then that here is this wheel. And then lastly, the minute wheel will go right in the center where you would expect it. So there is that's the intermediate wheel. This is the sub-seconds wheel. So okay, that's in, and then the escapement interacts with that and helps that stand up straight. Minute wheel. So that is interacting with that wheel, and that wheel is interacting with that wheel. And this wheel is almost, but not quite, interacting with the escapement wheel. So turn that just a little. There we go. Now for the bridges. Okay. I'm going to reline everything up here. Okay, the plate is in place, but I'm not so sure if the pivots are in there yet. I'm having a little bit of trouble with this bridge. I took the other 2 wheels out just to concentrate on these 2. Let's see if that makes a difference if I just... Ooh. Let's see if I can move the wheels a little bit. Let's see if that will... No, that one's not in yet. Okay, that one looks like... Oh, okay. It's moving around there. Okay, that one is in. But the escapement wheel is... Oh, boy. It's moving around. Just need to get that guy in there. Yeah, I can feel the pivot there. That's in. But the pivot for the escapement wheel is not in yet. Gonna need to take it off again. See about lining this up. Oh. Man, just a 2-point bridge, but this is really giving me fits. Small bridge here, snug these up. That took a while to get these, just these 2 wheels and this bridge in. Very tight tolerances, and yeah, that was pretty fiddly. But I'm ready to move on. But I think before I put this on, I will put the barrel, slide that in here. because I might have to take that minute wheel. Let me see. Looks like it's going to go. That's in, and that one is in as well. And so just to test it before I screw it down, I should be able to move the barrel and have the other wheels turn. Yeah. It's the escapement wheel is which is stopping them. Whoa! Oh my gosh! I don't know if you can see it. I don't know what. There's a huge piece of dust that you can see on this screw. That is, whoa! Really need to clean that. I don't know how that got on there. It's like almost looked like a feather. Wow! You know, you keep the parts under glass on the parts tray, but it's still picked up a big piece of dust there. I want to keep that out of the watch. This is the bridge that has the Ollendorff brand on it. Ollendorff Watch Co. right there. Before we put the barrel bridge on, I do need to put that one captured screw. Gonna go right in there. There's the bolt, and that will go right through that hole there, and just like that. There we go. Let's see, 3 more case screws. And if you remember, there was a short one. The short one goes all the way at the narrow end by the ratchet wheel. That's where the short case screw goes. Here's a long one here. And another long one, just so you can see the difference. I'll just lay it right here. There's a regular one, and here is a short one. Okay, starting to come together nicely. And then this barrel wheel has the Ollendorff name on it, Ollendorff Watch Company, and it was a little bit just had a touch of surface rust, and so I just kind of carefully removed it. It was from the second F there, and so I just removed that surface rust. You can still see, you know, if you see the reflection, just a little bit where the rust, you know, was, but it looks a lot better. Overall, this whole movement looks a lot cleaner than before, as it should, because that's what we're doing here, is we're cleaning everything up. These 2 screws, they appear to be, let me see if they are about the same. This one is longer, so I'm not exactly sure which is which. I will guess that the shorter one goes on the barrel. And these are reverse threads, so it's left to tight. I'm going to use them. And we need to hold that. Okay, that looks good. I'll snug it up more later. Yes, I remember we were talking about the this screw kind of being nicked up. But there's more torque on the ratchet wheel, and so I would expect that the longer screw would be necessary for that, just to be able to secure it better. So that was my reasoned thought process there for which screw would go which. Oh, you know what? And Now I have to take it off. I have to take the the barrel wheel off again because I forgot to put the click spring in there. So no problem. Regarding the click spring, I went back and watched my video, and what happened was when I moved the click, when I removed the screw, and then I went like this, and I took the click off, and in the process, when I watched the video back, the spring popped out, and I actually could see it. It popped out, and it took me a little while to find it, but I actually located it. It just flew into just an area of my workbench here where I was able to see it. You just have to be so careful with these springs when you are working around them. And I should have known better. I should have put my my stick or my pointer on there so that when I removed that click, it didn't free the spring. But that's what happened. After working on this for a few minutes, that spring flew on me, and I wasn't having any luck getting it in there. It was very strange. It's like I've just never seen a spring like that where it just didn't really want to go in. So fortunately, I do have the spring that I made. So I'm gonna use this one. It's in, but it's not quite pushed down all the way. Okay. Wow, that took longer than I thought it was going to. And the peg interacts with that spring. Now, when I tighten this, you should be able to hear it click. While I'm over here, I'm going to put these kind of strange little screws here that I think are related to the dial. There we go. Good. I think before I put the balance on, we'll work on the keyless works side. Pinion winder. Go in just like that. And then next will be the yoke spring and the yoke. Before I put that on, I will put the cod on here. There we go. And why does that feel like that is too long? Okay. Okay. Great. The spring is in there. Now I can grease this up. So I just turned this around and I tightened that screw from the other side. So now the setting pivot is in there correctly, and now I can take the intermediate wheel here and put that right in there. And next would be the cannon pinion. Actually, before I put the cannon pinion, I want to put this bracket on here because I just get a little nervous with the exposed spring. So I want to get that closed up as soon as I can. Okay, that was a little tricky. Now I get one more screw in there. Line that up a little bit better. Okay, and just make sure that this spring is on the peg right there, and it is. Okay, so that is good. Now the cannon pinion. So I flip that over, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil right down in the bottom of the bottom pivot on the balance. Okay. And just gently help that find its place. And I'll put a little bit of air on here. Sometimes that will help it just kind of seat. The bridge isn't quite in place yet. Okay, that looks like it has synced up there. I'm going to put the bridge screw on here. Just not quite tight, just a little bit snug. Okay, because I got this binding a little bit. I'm going to back that off just a little. I have a feeling we're very close, but I just want to take the right amount of time here. Okay, that is moving the pallet fork and the escapement. But it's a little bit high. Test the, oops, the side shake there. See if it's still moving. That's not right. Not yet moving the escapement wheel. Or is it? No. I need to get a little bit more of tension on here. It's so close. Okay, I'm going to try to put the stem in. When I first took the watch apart, this crown, this watch didn't have a crown. Well, at least when I got it, it didn't have a crown, and the stem was broken. I found a new crown, which I think would look pretty cool, but I do need to have get a new stem because this is too short. It needs to be longer. So I'm going to need to source a new stem. I put the old one in there so it would hold the keyless works together while I was putting the rest of the keyless works together. it is running. So at this point, what this watch movement needs is a new stem. So I need to source a new stem, but I'm really happy with that. I think I'm just going to oil all of the jewels now that I have it running. These three up here. Well, here we are right now. Here is the kind of the status of this project. It's been about, I'd say about 4 weeks since I started this really restoration of this Ollendorff watch, and we are ready to put it back together. So here's where we stand right now. The movement is all cleaned and put back together. I found this stem after that. I mean, that was the last thing that I was looking for, was a long enough stem, because the one that was in it, this one here, was broken off, and it just wasn't long enough to be able to put a crown on it, and also be able to case it. So I looked all over, and I actually bought another movement because I was thinking, well, I could maybe use the stem out of this the other movement. But it turned out that the stem in that movement was the exact same length as this broken one. So that didn't really help me at all. But I did find, just in my parts drawer, I found a long stem that does work. So I'm going to need to cut this down when I put it into the case. But it is working, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I just want to kind of give you an overview. Here we have the hands. They've been relumed, and they're ready to be put on. We have the dial that's been restored. Still has, you know, pretty heavy patina on there, but it is original, and it's not repainted, which I wouldn't want to do that. So it is original, just cleaned up. And then, really cool, I was able to, as you can see, I have a crystal in the case now, and I found this new old stock crystal. I mentioned it before, but it's actually was for a Waltham watch, not an Ollendorff, and so it was close. It's the Tonneau shaped crystal. It was close to this case, but it wasn't exact. So I actually had to file the edges of the crystal down, kind of like right here and right here, and then kind of the same on the other side, which was pretty tricky because, you know, obviously it's a curved two curved sides and two straight sides, so I did have to file on the curve, but I was able to get it in, and it has a nice fit now, and it's like a brand new, as I said, brand new old stock crystal. So really cool to see it at this point, ready to put it together. So I'm going to take the next steps here. So I'm going to get some things out of the way. Right now, this is in the what I'd say the first position, the stem. So if I turn this, it is winding the watch, right? And then if I pull it, there we go. If you pull it, now we can set the time like that. So you notice it was just a little bit rough, and that's sometimes the case with an antique watch like this, where you have to just kind of twist the stem a little bit, kind of gently ask it to go like that into the other position. And it just could be that because this stem was from my parts drawer, it might be just a fraction of a millimeter, off, but it does, it serves the purpose, and it will work. It's just, we'll just take a little bit of care when you're setting the watch and when you're winding it. And I'll show you this on the other side, but this is it's a pretty clever way on this watch where the dial posts get tightened to the rest of the movement. It's a unique method, but you'll have to see it from the other side. So I just want you to keep these posts in mind, because we'll take a look at that when we look at the other side. Okay, here we go. Just make sure that that's lined up. So here are the screws. This is a screw right here and right over here, and they are right next to those dial posts. And they have a flange on them that is kind of flat on one side. So what happens is that the post of the dial comes right next to it, and right next to the flat area of the flange. And then when you tighten this screw, the the flange kind of tightens up against the post, and that's what keeps the dial attached to the movement. There we go. There's the one. And that's the second one. Now we can just double check that the gap looks good. But should be no gap between the bottom plate and the dial. Yes. Almost time to put it into the case, but before I can put it in the case, I have to take the stem out. About one turn should do it. Yep, there it comes. All right, it's exciting to be at this point. It's great to see the movement running. And now we are ready to put it back into the case. As you notice, the hands are not on yet. I am going to wait until I have it cased with the stem back on before I put the hands on. And the way this case works, that's easy to do because it has this center area where this center movement holder, and then the back of the case hinges up, and then the front of the case also hinges down to kind of sandwich it together. All right, case screws are next. I'm going to snug it up there, and then, okay, see, that's starting to sink a little bit, but we'll get that to go back up again once we put the case screws in. This is a procedure where it's be good to have about 2 more hands. So I'm kind of pinching it with my fingers here because I'm going to put that second case screw right there. Okay, the final thing is I do need to tighten down this crown. And then you'll see, so obviously the stem is too long. So we'll need to make an adjustment. And the adjustment means cutting it down. I'll probably have to do this a couple times so that I get it just right, because I don't want to take too much off the stem, or once you take it off, you can't put it back on, so it has to be exact. So how much do I need to take off? Because it will need to have a final position right about like that. I could probably take at least 1 millimeter off at first. Okay. So that's how much I took off. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, that's the number 1. So obviously it's still long, which is what we were thinking, that it would be, still requiring at least 1 more cut. But we're getting closer, and not too much. That's what we want. Almost another 1/8 of an inch. not quite. We took this much out. I think taking that much out again is too much. So I think I'm going to cut it 1 millimeter. And we'll just take a look at it again. How much is a millimeter? It's actually 1/12, but I think that's, I'm just going to try to get the, okay, there's 0.99. Okay. Oh, it feels very close. It's a little nerve-wracking. That's the number 2 position, and it's the number 1 position. So it's still a little long. I could take another, maybe 1 millimeter off. That looks really good. So without closing it all the way up, let's see what it's looking like here. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I could take it even a little bit more. And if I did that a little bit more, it would move the crown a little bit closer and maybe cover up that, that stem tube a little bit more. But I think it would make it harder to wind. I think that this crown really goes nicely with this kind of ornamented case. I like it. Winding. So cool to see the watch working like it's supposed to work. It's so much cleaner. The movement is so much cleaner than it was when we started this project. Really very satisfying to be able to take a watch that was in such bad condition with no, with no crystal, with missing hands, and just such a dirty movement, and almost had a little rust in it too. And now to see where it is right now, so really neat. Okay. One last look. And close that part up. It's a very satisfying snap. There's one final challenge to solve here, and that is that when I acquired this watch, it didn't have a second hand. So what I found was this second hand, which is like a gold kind of color, or brass color, and it does fit. I tried it on the second post there, but obviously it's too long. So I'm going to need to adjust it. Just taking off just a little bit at a time. I could maybe take just a little bit more off. Like that. Well, it's a little longer than I intended, but honestly, that actually might be good. just going to take a fraction more off. You'll know when you get this right because it'll start to turn right away. Look at that. So it just needs a little bit of just a tap. I like to use a toothpick for this, just to give it a tap, which what I'm doing is making sure it's on the post, of course, but then also just straightening it. Then we're ready for the final close. To connect the bracelet chain together, there was a busted hole on the other side here. So I'm using this this hand drill to drill 2 more holes. We got one on the other side, and this one's just about through. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this side of the clasp, actually that hole was okay, but I had to drill another one because you can see here, this is the one that had broken this hole. And so now I have this new hole and this new hole here. Now I'll be able to put a post across here and then put that in there. Okay. Well, there we have it. All of a sudden it's done. Well, there it is. It is restored and running. This Ollendorff 1920s with a great little patina dial there, and I just really love the way that has turned out. We have the hands reloomed. We have a new second hand. The dial is cleaned, but still tells the story. And we also have this restored chain bracelet as well. Well, thank you for joining me again as we got another watch back in circulation here. See you next time.